Hey guys, how are you doing? So welcome to lesson 2 of me and my whiteboard, and today we're going to be talking about the blockchain and how it works basically. So we're going to be talking about this from a perspective of a proof of work consensus mechanism. An example of that would be Bitcoin or Ethereum currently. So first off, we're going to talk about a transaction. I'm going to give you a real life example and then tie it into how it would work on the blockchain to give you more of an understanding of this principle. So say I go to the shop and I go and buy some milk and I use my card to buy the milk. It's actually a central party, being the bank, confirming the transaction from my bank account to the shop's bank account. And if you want to get technical, actually it doesn't do that. It sends a credit note across from your account to theirs. Yes, it comes out of your online account, but it doesn't actually get settled until the end of the day. But that's a story for another time. Let's get back to this. So on the blockchain it gets a bit more complicated because it's a decentralized network, meaning there's not one central party who are running or confirming each transaction. It's actually a group of people all together, so everyone and no one at the same time. And a way to describe a transaction on the blockchain would be if I went to the shop and I bought my milk and I said, here's 20 Bitcoin from me to you for the milk, and then everyone else in the shop who watched that said, yeah, I saw him give his 20 Bitcoin from himself to the shop, then they would be the people confirming the transaction. And that's essentially what's happening online when you make a transaction with something that's proof of work. So these transactions that happen then get assigned a TX ID, which is basically just a transaction ID. That's what it stands for. And then these transaction IDs are then pushed into a little square called a block. Well, they're not actually a literal square, but it's just easy for visual interpretation. Once these blocks are filled up, they're then put onto a chain, and this chain links to the previous block and links to the next block that's going to start. And this is basically a massive ledger of everything that's happened so far in the proof of work system on the blockchain. So you might ask, what's the incentive for people to stand around and watch and see who's making what transaction? What do they get out of it? Because they're using a lot of computer power to basically assess what's going on online. Well, the incentive is, and this is where it's a pretty smart technology, is that every single time one of these blocks are filled up, whoever puts the last transaction ID in there to fill the block gets rewarded. And this reward isn't something to turn your nose up at. Currently it stands at about 12.5 Bitcoin if I'm correct. As more people see the value in Bitcoin, more people come onto the network. And more people that come onto the network, more people are competing to finish these blocks. But Bitcoin's a smart algorithm and it completes its distribution over a set period of time. So roughly every 4 years, Bitcoin's algorithm gets about twice as hard to mine a block. And people believe that's one of the reasons we see these cyclical bull runs every 4 years. Peace.